Each week, we provide you with an exclusive report in partnership with our friends over at Colorado Avalanche Information Center. Let's take a look at this week's report.
Okay, Mountain TV with our weekly exclusive report from the CAIC Colorado Avalanche Information Center. Brian, great to see you again. Happy holidays. A couple recent storms. Activity level is changing. Get us up to speed.
Yeah, we just had a storm roll through middle of this week, and that is going to repeat essentially what we saw last weekend. And I want to show that here. You can see we had avalanche activity from our last storm event, which was pretty widespread spread across the state, all regions, north, central, and southern mountains. And you can see that the peak in avalanche activity coincided with the loading event, and that was no different this week. The thing that has stayed the same is that the most problematic slopes here I have highlighted in yellow, where we're seeing most of the avalanche activity. It's on these northerly and easterly facing slopes, particularly at higher elevations. You can see that in the alpine, we're seeing avalanches kind of around the compass on all aspects, but these northerly and easterly facing slopes remain the most worrisome, and the storm from this week only enhanced that same situation.
Brian, I know that we've talked a couple times about different kinds of snowpack, a couple different types of avalanches in general. Can you give us a little bit of an update on how that shakes out?
Yeah, we've kind of got two situations across the state of Colorado. In a couple areas, we've got a much deeper snowpack. This is mainly in the Park Range north of Steamboat and in the western portion of the Elk Mountains, kind of west of Aspen and Crested Butte. In these areas, the avalanches are getting really big. The weak layers are buried deeper, so they are harder to impact. Mother Nature is not as talkative, meaning that the snowpack is not cracking and collapsing. It's not as noisy as it is in other parts of the state, but the resulting avalanches are really big and hard to survive.
No, that talkative, that's a really interesting point. Can you kind of explain how that works? I think that's a super interesting point.
Yeah, so sometimes Mother Nature gives us really clear signs of instability, and those are audible collapsing or whoomphing noises, or shooting cracks from your skis or snowmobile or snowshoes and things like that. Right. And those are really clear signs that we're dealing with an unstable snowpack. That's really what we're seeing in most parts of the state. We're not seeing it in these deeper snowpack areas because the weak layers are now like 3 or more feet deep. But again, if you find a local shallow spot, we're seeing really, really large avalanches like this one out near Ragged Peak and this one near Treasury Mountain just west of Crested Butte. And these avalanches are going to be hard to survive, and you may not see any signs of instability before triggering these monsters. In the rest of the state, however, we're getting a more talkative snowpack, more feedback from Mother Nature, and we really have to worry about these remote triggers like this video illustrates. And this is from the northern mountains, courtesy of Pro Snowmobile Jeremy Mercer.
What's up, everybody? Today out riding with my friends and playing it super safe on a considerable day. And just wanted to show you how possible a remote trigger is. My friend came up on the safe side of this Avi path. I was sitting up here in my island of safety. As soon as he came through here, the whole snow collapsed and got a pretty good sized slab, persistent slab release. So, you know, it's why we take the avalanche training and take good route finding. This is super important, especially this year.
Like I mentioned, these kinds of conditions are not confined to the northern mountains. Here's another example of an avalanche triggered from a distance near Aspen. And this avalanche up here in the upper left of the photo, along with these cracks over here, was triggered from the snowmobile track. Wow. So when we say remotely triggered avalanches, this is what we're warning about. And it's really important that people make sure that they are aware of steep slopes overhead, even if they are in flat or really gentle terrain. And then this storm from the middle of the week, as we're showing here, dropped some really healthy snowfall, confined mostly to the south side of the San Juan Mountains, and then you can see a little bit of healthy snowfall up near Monarch Pass. And what that has done is created more dangerous avalanche conditions down in that very southern portion of the state because they got the most snowfall. These conditions are going to last with us into early next week, before our prolonged dry spell, before our next storm on the 21st allows avalanche conditions to heal a little bit.
Okay, Brian, sounds great. And obviously it's the holidays. It's busy, lots of people. So some extra care is warranted. Check out the website, guys, for the latest information and updates there, and know that conditions are constantly changing in Colorado, no surprise, and that they vary across the state, and the website will key in on that. Brian, great seeing you. We'll see you again in another week for an update.
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, you bet, Brian. Thank you.
You can always stay up to date with the latest forecast at colorado.gov/avalanche. Enjoy the backcountry and be sure to stay safe and alert out there.